Hello student, good afternoon. Today we will start the life cycle of Ancylostoma duodenal. Life cycle of Ancylostoma duodenal. Last two lectures we have to study the morphology, habitat, distribution, digestive system, all this part, excretory system, nervous system, reproductive system, all these systems are studied in the last two lectures, and this is the today we will start the life cycle of Ancylostoma duodenal nematode parasites. Ancylostoma duodenal. Copulation and fertilization. Fertilization is internal, and during copulation the bursa of male is applied on the vulva of female. The female Ancylostoma lays about 20,000 eggs per day. The egg is about 60 by 30 micron. These are passed along the host fishes at 4-celled stage and do not develop further until exposed to air under favorable conditions. The embryo hatches out of the egg in less than 24 hours in the fishes contained in the mud. Ancylostoma duodenal copulatory bursa. In copulatory bursa, at the lateral side dorsal ridge, excretory dorsal ridge, penis spicule, posterior lateral ridge, radial lateral ridge, externolateral ridge, latero-ventral ridge, and ventrolateral ridge. Finger-like structures present in the copulatory bursa. Next, larval development. Under favorable conditions of the moisture, oxygen supply and temperature 68 to 85 degree Fahrenheit, the embryo develops and hatches a larva. The hatched larva is the first larval stage or the first rhabditiform larva. It has mouth, pharynx, and a simple intestine. It feeds on bacteria and organic debris in the fishes and grows rapidly. At the end of second day, it undergoes first molds and changes into second stage larva or the strongly formed larva. At about fifth day, it undergoes second molds to the become filariform juveniles. This is the infective non-feeding stage. The skin of the second stage larva is retained as a protective sheath. The larvae live in the upper half inch or soil infection. The third stage or the filariform juveniles represents the infective stage. It may remain alive in the moist soil for nearly 4 months without feeding. When a man walks barefooted on the infested soil, the larva penetrate the skin Infection can also occur by the ingestion of infective juveniles in contaminated food or water. Larval migrations. Within 24 hours of infections, the larvae reaches the blood vessels. From here, they are carried first to the right ventricles of the heart and then to the lungs. From lungs, the larvae ascend the trachea and to the pharynx. In pharynx, they are swallowed through esophagus and finally reach to the small intestine. In the ileum, they become attached to the mucous lining and feed on blood of the host. In 5 to 6 weeks, they molts twice to become adult and begins to reproduce. The normal lifespan of hookworm is 5 to 7 years. Hookworm pathology. Hookworm infection gives rise to a wide range of signs and symptoms indicative of a number of pathological conditions loosely termed hookworm disease. The hallmark of hookworm disease is iron deficiency anemia. A condition which should give no cause for concern when nutrition is adequate or could be readily reversed by iron therapy. Sadly, in hookworm endemic areas, adequate nutrition is the exception, and not only is dietary protein in short supply, but it is usually of poor biological value. Similarly, dietary iron supplementation is not readily available, making it difficult for the subjects to maintain the required iron balance. It is for this reason that iron deficiency anemia due to the hookworm assumes the importance it does it tropics. Miller, scientist, has described in 1979, has given a comprehensive review of hookworm infections. A drastic summary is presented here. For greater details, the reader should consult Miller's review. Morbidity in hookworm infections can be either acute or chronic. Acute infection is due to the activities of migrating larvae and the adults recently reaching the intestine, while morbidly due to the chronic infections arise from the activities of established adults in the intestines, as well as the consequences of the physiological, biochemical and hematological disturbances they cause. Signs and symptoms of the acute infections. Penetrating larvae produce inflammation, dermatitis, which is intensified by the secondary bacterial infections causing an irritations of varying severity known as ground itch. They do not, however, produce the serpentine tracks associated with the cutaneous larva migrants characteristics of other non-human hookworm larvae, although there are no marked pulmonary signs. There are clear signs of super respiratory tracts involvement expressed as laryngitis, pain when speaking and swallowing, etc. On arriving in the intestine, the worm induces signs and symptoms, including the severe abdominal epigastric pain, loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, flatulence, etc. Associated with the abdominal pain are indigestion and diarrhea produced on arrival of the fourth stage of larva, and dysentery and constipation arising from the blood sucking activities of adult worms in the intestine. But the most distinct sign at this stage is anemia, which, when there are adequate iron reserve needs, constitutes no serious problems. The acute hemorrhage, which frequently results in the fatal anemia, means this nematode is sucking the large amount of blood, that's why causing disease called as anemia, fatal anemia. In canine, hookworm infection has only rarely been reported in humans. This condition's acute uncompensated hemorrhagic anemia, to give it its full name, may be more common than is generally thought, particularly in remote and backward areas where high infant mortality is not routinely reported and fully documented. This is the life cycle of Ancylostoma dudenale. Okay, remaining part we will continue in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.